thank you so much for the invitation and the opportunity to talk about our great outdoors. We have really a plethora of places that you can go and do a lot of things, from birding to camping to fishing and beyond. I tend to be kind of an informal teacher person. So if you need something, please feel free to ask or stop us or wave your hand and say, hey, Julie, what's going on there? So again, thanks for having me. So we're gonna see if we can go here. We're gonna kind of split this into kind of 3 parts. Hopefully, hopefully it'll all make sense here. The first part of it, we're gonna talk a little bit of background about why does a teacher think that there needs to be even anything like this, and how it came to be and what was involved in it. The second part of it we're going to do is we're going to actually go to the Local OPAL website and navigate through that. So kind of help you try to find stuff. I hope it's pretty user-friendly. And if there are things that you don't think are necessarily user-friendly, I hope you let me know so I can try to make them more user-friendly. And then we'll talk a little bit about where Local OPAL is headed next. So welcome aboard. The first part of this, we'll talk a little bit about background. I'm Julie Robinson. I've lived in Central Illinois all of my life. I used to teach math. I also taught a little bit of science for a few years, all of which I loved. I've always been an outdoor enthusiast, nature enthusiast, which probably is to the credit of my grandparents and the Girl Scouts. Especially in teaching, I'm really passionate about kids being outside and in nature. Kind of the impetus for some of this was the University of Illinois Extension Master Naturalist project, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. I do love to travel outside of Central Illinois, but I really love to be home too, especially with the more things that I discover we have here. So Local OPAL really is a free, no ad, nonprofit, nobody selling you stuff, hopefully easy to use place where you can find information about being outdoors, why it's good to be outdoors, and where to go, and maybe what to do when you get there if you're looking for something on an idea for that. As of today, it probably will change tomorrow, the next few days, we have 378 publicly accessible outdoor places. They are all nonprofit, and they are all centered primarily along that Illinois River Valley that you're seeing right through here. I did put McLean County in there. That's one we're currently working on, mainly because ISU and Illinois Wesleyan are there, and I'm hoping to involve more young people in this. So 7.5 counties. McLean is about half done. The rural areas in McLean County are done. But the Bloomington normal parks are still a work in progress. So why do you do this? Well, and we've all been kids at one point, and it's a pretty common mantra for teenagers. Oh, this is the most boring place there ever was. I'm never going to live here when I grow up. There's nothing to do. And really, that's a pretty common hazard of that age. And so we've all been kind of used to that. The problem from, my own little perspective started to really become an issue when we started to develop, smartphones became commonplace. So if you walked into a classroom 20 years ago, kind of on the left, as a teacher, you'd have all these kids and they're chatting, and it's like, okay, guys, kind of calm down here. We need to get started with class. And, they'd kind of separate their conversations. But about 10-ish years ago, we started to see more of what was over here on the right. If you walked into class, it would be dead silent. And kids would have their noses in their smartphones, which they're a great tool. I have one too, but it was that communication between kids was just not happening, which is, of course, a concern to an educator and parents and a society at large. So we kind of started to think this smartphone thing, this social media thing, there's something messing with our kids. But then the research started to come out that backed us up. So if you take a look at on the left at this graph over here, you can see the years, we go back to 1991, And you can kind of start to see this is the amount of students with high depression issues or symptoms. And it's about 2012 that we start to see this just skyrocketing issue here. And about 2012 is about when social media and smartphones became really commonplace, especially with students. And you see this more in females than you do typically in males. And then we take a look over here on this other side where we're looking at student depression starting in about 2009 up to about 2017. And for us older folks, it's kind of up and down. The big area is showing up here with our younger people. And so I thought, this is not good. We need to help kids figure out how to manage this, get help, and maybe prevent it from happening. So kind of keep all of those things in mind. So I thought, if kids could spend more time outside and spend less time on their phones, I thought, I think they'll be happier. I think they'll be healthier. I think it'll be a better, they'll just grow better. So I thought, well, I need to work on this. I need to get kids to spend more time outside. So in comes the Master Naturalist program. And we'll kind of take a little bit of commercial break here because this really was the impetus that started this. In 2018, I got involved with the University of Illinois Extension program for Fulton, Mason, Peoria, and Tazewell County. And they have this Illinois Master Naturalist program. It was, for me, it was 2 weeks in the summer going to places all over our area that were just amazing, beautiful places. And some of them I had been to before, but a lot of them I hadn't. And I thought, I thought I knew where these places, all these cool places were, but I didn't. And I thought, oh, we need to tell people about all these other places. So, like I said, kind of a commercial break. If you're not familiar with the Illinois Master Naturalist program, I would encourage you to become familiar with it. It's great if you can join and do some of the volunteer work with them. But even if you don't feel like you can commit that amount of time, all of these resources on their website are available to the general public, which is a really, really nice resource. We do have Master Naturalist programs all over the state. We are in this 4-county region right here. But there are other ones. So I would encourage you to join that program and look into it. It's really kind of cool. So back to the kids. So I went into the classroom in the fall of 2018 and I thought, I am bound and determined that this year we are going to get the kids outside more. I'm going to do it this year. So I thought, okay, I can do this. So we had more class discussions with, maybe I had story problems that were more related to being outside. They were set in local parks. And I tried to do it like that. And that worked to a certain extent. And they'd say, well, where is that park? And what can I do there? And I would tell them. And that kind of worked a little bit. And the problem was they were relying on me to, where's the address? What can I do there? And I thought, this is not a solution to this problem. This needs to be something that I can be removed from. I can give you the information and you can go, so that you aren't looking to me to be the bearer of all things outdoors, because I am not that. So I thought, okay, I'm going to change gears here. I'm going to put together some sort of booklet or handout that lists all of these great parks and all of the cool things they can do there. And I'm just going to give it to the kids, and I'm going to give it to parents at conferences and give it to the staff. And that'll be easy, right? Well, yeah, that didn't work either, because I quickly found out that we have hundreds and hundreds of places. So a piece of paper or a PDF file wasn't going to cut it. So I thought, okay, this isn't going to work. So we do live in the century with the internet. So it's probably going to have to be a website. The glitch is, I don't know how to build a website. I'm old. I don't know how to do that. So it's like, okay, well, sometimes you just have to suck it up and learn. So with a lot of determination and a great passion for kids and getting them outside, and I would say a lot of patience from my friends and my dear husband, Local OPAL got built. And it's still a work in progress. It will always be a work in progress, I think. So then it became a matter of, well, what do you include? So I kind of automatically off the top, I eliminated for-profit areas. I thought they have their own budgets for marketing. We're not going to do that. If it was an area that was primarily organized for sports, like softball fields, football fields, I didn't really put those in there. Golf courses, private club areas, I didn't put in there. I love to hike. So I thought, well, I'll just put in the places with hiking and maybe some playgrounds and some parks, but really back to the idea that it was for everybody. And maybe there are people who don't really like to hike. Maybe they want a bird. Maybe they just want to go on a picnic. This is what it came down to. So we have preserves, fishing areas, public campgrounds, but they all had to be not for profit. So that this can't be this hard. Everybody has a website. No, they don't. and we have lots of different places, lots of different entities who own public access areas, and from federal to state, county, township, city, park districts, conservation areas. In some cases, if you pick a town and there's a park there, you won't know if it's managed by the park district for information or if it's managed by the city. It crisscrosses a lot of different lines. So there were lots and lots of things to navigate with that. So it really turned into a scavenger hunt. One by one, we just kind of I started looking. Sometimes it was drive around and look. Sometimes it was, no, stop, Tom, hit the brakes. I saw a brown sign for a park, and we would turn around and go back. Sometimes it was looking at Google Maps and thinking, oh, I think that might be a park there. And it's like, oh no, that's a cemetery. That's not going to be it. So it was just kind of a hunt and peck thing. And in some respects, it still is. That is nothing against the people who run these properties, because truly they are so stretched to the limit for resources that they are doing good in a lot of cases to simply keep up with the land they are managing. To build a website that's too much. So that being said, if you have, we just went too back here. If you have information about areas, please let me know. I'd love to include them so we can all share in them. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of take a look at navigating this. We're going to kind of go through the different parts of it. The big thing to remember with this is that you have to remember there are lots of ways to get to the lots of ways to get to the same place. This will work on a smartphone as well. It'll look a little bit different, but it'll work on a smartphone too. So this is the part where if you have a question, please don't wait till you get crazy lost. Just go ahead and chime in and say, hey, Julie, how did you get there from there? So it's localopal.org. So if you want to take a look from that. All right, so this is, everybody, can you guys see my local opal page there? Are we all in the same spot?
Yes, it's looking fine.
Okay, good. So if you take a look, this is the home page. If you ever want to get back to here, this local opal logo will be at the top. So you can always just click that and it'll take you right back there. So like I said, there are multiple ways to get to places, and we'll go through these different ones. On this basic homepage, there's always going to be this row of information at the top for you to use. Some of them are drop down, some of them are not. Almost every link is hot here. So if you wanted to scroll down here and you're looking for just a specific county, if you click on any of these, like you click on Peoria County, it will take you to Peoria County. So if you don't want to use these drop downs, some people find them very cumbersome. You can come down here and hit any of these buttons, and these buttons will take you to places too. And we'll go through these. The big thing I want to make you aware of here is this search bar. Truthfully, I built the site and I use this search bar more than anything, just because we are up to 378 places, and that's a lot to sift through. So let's just say I want to look for Poplar Lane Park. I'm just going to type that in there. I'm going to hit search and it will bring it up. So we're going to go to Poplar Lane Park as kind of an example of what you're going to find on a normal page. All of the site pages are set up the same, so that there's consistency and it's easy to navigate, I hope. So the name of the place will be at the top here, what county it is in, and then the latitude and longitude is always here. If you click that latitude and longitude, it will take you there. It will bring up a Google map to take you there. So if I click on that, it's going to take me to Google and it's going to show me exactly where Poplar Lane is. So sometimes in cars and navigation that they won't take latitude and longitude. So you need to actually put in a street address. Most of them have street addresses. It's a very rare occasion that we just cannot get a street address. If it has an official website, it's listed right here. You can click on that. It'll take you to Peoria Heights. This is their website. And there you can see Poplar Lane Park there. Everybody doing okay?
Looks great.
Okay, so over here under activities, it'll tell you, it's kind of split into two columns here. The activities, it'll talk about, this particular one, can you paddle, can you fish, is it trails, at hiking, and we'll look at some more of these. This one happens to be a stop on the Greater Peoria Canoe and Kayak Trail, which is a really cool thing that was built a number of years ago. That link is hot too. So it'll pull up Greater Peoria Canoe and Kayak Trail. This one is a little unique because it has so many different stops on it. So you can take a look at that and you can float all the way down the river. It's a really, really cool thing. And there's a bench at each of them. So if I can find what the season and hours are, I will put them there. This one, I am not able to get an answer on that. As far as dog friendly, I haven't been able to get an answer on that, but they're all set up the same. This one, there's no online map, there's no on-site map, which this is a small park. You wouldn't really expect that, but some of our bigger parks like Sand Ridge is thousands of acres. So we kind of look for those maps if we can. Parking lot, it's a family labor of love. One of my nieces said, you have to tell me whether there's a parking lot. I have a stroller. I need to know where I'm going to get a stroller out. Is it going to be on the street or is it going to be a parking lot? So that is a credit to one of my nieces. Amenities will include things like, is there a gazebo or shelter, picnic tables, benches, anything that we know of. A big thing for a lot of people, are there restrooms? Are they porta potties? Are they seasonal? This trail info website would be things like All Trails or the Hiking Project or Trail Forks. A lot of those sites have maps on it or information on it. And if I could find them, they put that there. The cool thing about most of these is they're free. I would say 99% of them are free. So for a family, it usually doesn't cost anything. Poplar Lane has some pretty cool historical connection to it, I guess is the best way to put it. So if you take a look down here, Opal's observations and opinions, I don't always put them there. I probably should do more of that, but just kind of my perspective on what happened there. If they're close to the river, you'll have something here that says check Illinois river levels. Don't go there in a flood. That's not a good idea. The second column over here will have the Google map for that area. And then if there are any trail parks, maps, brochures that are downloadable, typically they're a PDF. And we'll visit some of those that do have that. If I can find information, whether it's news articles or historical things, if I can find them, I put them there. So it would be, I encourage people to read about the areas they visit before they go there. And then the managing entity is down here if you would need to contact them. And then we have pictures. If I have taken pictures, I'm trying to get better about that. I think I need to enlist Dennis's camera skills for that. But these are some of the ones who are taken at Poplar Lane Park to give you an idea of what is really there. So if you take a look at the bottom of any page, there are also going to be links to some of the other areas. So if we're going to scroll back up here, let's say, well, let's just go home. So you can click the home, you can click here. lots of ways to get to the same places. So one of the other ways, we're going to kind of work our way across here and see what each of these has for it. You can search for areas by name. You can drop down here. Also, you can find areas by name here. If you drop down here, you're going to be scrolling for a long time. There are, like I said, 370 some at this point. So my suggestion would be to go ahead and just go areas by name, and then it will bring up a list of them, or again, use that search bar at the bottom of the home page. So you can kind of take a look what's there by name. So they're all hot. It'll tell you what town they're in, or at least what mailing address they have. Areas by location, try to give lots of options. If you are maybe traveling in an area that isn't as familiar to you, a map can kind of sometimes come in handy. So we can do areas by location, again, by drop down here, or we can go back to the home page, or just click areas by location. And you can click the buttons if that's easier for you to do. So we'll go ahead and take a look by map. This map includes every site that we have on here so far, and we just keep adding to it. So if we look at a big map for this, every single one of those purple dots with a tree is a location that's on Local OPAL, which means it's a public access area. It's like, well, so what? You have a bunch of purple dots there, but those purple dots are hot linked. So let's just say I pick this one, I click on it, and it's like, oh, that's Whitefield pheasant habitat area. And you don't have to go back into, you don't have to get out of the map and go back into Local OPAL. You can just click that link. So if I choose here, that's Reed's Park, I could say, oh, I just click here and it'll take me to Reed Park. So everybody doing okay with maps?
Looks good.
Okay, so if you take a look, the other way to do it is, if you're going by location, is to do areas by county. So there are 8 counties. McLean County, again, is not finished as far as the Bloomington Normal Proper Parks. So let's go ahead and just pick Peoria County. So if we pick Peoria County, it will list just the sites that are in Peoria County. And if you scroll to the bottom, there will be a map that just includes Peoria County. So it kind of segregates them by county, if that's what you're looking to find. So, excuse me. One of the other options is to find it by town. That one got added later because sometimes it's just easier to search by town. So again, you can go home to do it. You can click here and then choose a button, whatever way works best for you. I keep adding them to the towns. Hopefully I haven't forgotten them, although I occasionally do. So it's kind of cool to see what some of these amazing little towns have as far as places to visit. The Audubon, you have this Brimfield Railroad Nature Preserve out there, which is really cool. Again, set up the same way. Don't take your dogs there. That's a bad idea. So Canton, another one I would encourage you to see. We just discovered, it's brand new, Canton Lake Scenic Nature Trails. A beautiful place to hike. It's a kind of a lollipop loop if you want to do that. So that kind of gets us through location. If we're going to take a look by activity, because everybody has kind of their thing that they want to do. So again, you can use this row across here. You can use activity and the drop down, or you can go home and you can come back here and search by activity, whichever works best for you. So we did birding, wildlife viewing. You can go ahead and choose any of those. Black Partridge Park, we'll just pick that one. That's a place up by Metamora. That's kind of a cool place to go to. Lots of different options there, lots of different options. So if we're going to go camping, some people are really shocked to discover we have a lot of camping areas. Camp Big Sky is ADA accessible. That's a really neat place. And let's take a look. Marshall State Fish and Wildlife Area has has hiking, it has wildlife watching, hunting, all kinds of things. And to give you an idea of activities, A lot of these places are multi-use. This time of year up there, it's really important to be aware and be safe because it is hunting season. The IDNR has just beefed up their website, I guess is the best way to put it, for huntillinois.org, which could help you figure out where hunting is going on so that you can be safe out there. The maps I was talking about, this one has different maps that are easily downloadable. I tried to put all of them in PDF form. Some of them are as simple as I took a picture of it and turned it into a PDF so that people can see it. These are some of the hiking trails that are on there. So again, lots and lots of different things to do. Dog friendly. We are dog people. So we're always interested in places where we can take our dogs, make sure they're always leashed. One of the things that denotes the difference in these, dogs are welcome in all of these areas, but the ones with double asterisks are the ones that actually have dedicated dog parks. And so if you're looking for that, make sure that you look for the one with the double asterisk to it. Bicycling trails, we can thank PAMBA for a lot of the trails that are built around here. Most of those are ones that we can hike as well if we want to. They have done a lion's share amount of work around here to develop some of those trails and mark them. Kinsey Park is a great place to hike, mainly because PAMBA put together some great mountain biking trails out there. So it's kind of a nice thing to see. One of the other things as far as activities go, and I need to clarify this, trails and hiking, walking. Everybody's version of what hiking and walking are kind of different. So I tried to differentiate these. If it was a paved path that just kind of went around the block or just wasn't very long, I tried to specify that it's a paved path so that you don't go there and think I'm going hiking and really you're walking on kind of a sidewalk around the park. So it's kind of one of those things to kind of keep in mind. Take a look at the size of the park you're visiting to make sure it really is what you had in mind. So one of the other things is playground, paddling, of course, too, but playgrounds are a big deal. To try to get kids out to go play in them. And that's kind of one of the first places they meet the great outdoors, I guess. And there's one I would like to show you because even though I'm old, I still have a fair amount of kid in me, and it's in Mackinac. So if you're ever in Mackinac for whatever reason, paddling or visiting or dining out, I would encourage you to go to Westwood Park and use the sit down zip line. It even holds adults. So it's kind of a fun place to go. It has great views. It's kind of a nice place. Winter sledding, we have places that are dedicated for that, which is kind of nice. One of the ones we discovered last winter is really neat. It's up in the town of Mark, which I honestly had never heard of before last year. And they have one of the big jumbos from the coal mining era. And they have turned it into this gargantuan sledding hill there. So it's a great place to visit. All right, so as far as the other parts of this go, that kind of gets us through actually the nitty gritty of where the sites are, ideas and inspirations. Sometimes, especially people who are maybe a little outdoor hesitant, aren't really sure what to do out there. And it's like, okay, well, I'm supposed to go outside. Well, what am I supposed to do with my kids when I get there? This is just kind of a list of different activities that you could try. If you want to go, take your kids, take your grandkids, and visit. These are Julie had fun inventing things that you could go do outside. One of the ones I would encourage you to do is, I called it STRUX, which stands for Small Town Rural Urban Exchange. Try to visit outdoor areas in different types of settings, whether they're urban or little bitty town or in a rural area. There are always some amazing things to do. Challenges we'll talk about in a little bit. At the bottom of this page are all kinds of resource links. It is amazing the amount of stuff that is out there that encourages people and gives them activities to do outside. And some of them are Audubon based. If you come to Fall Walk, which is bingo, this is put out by Massachusetts Audubon. So if you're out, an adult or a kid, and you want to try fall walk bingo, which is kind of fun to do with kids or even with adults. One of the other things I really like, especially if people have young kids, maybe older kids, are these different things, 33 things to do before you're 1 or 51 things to do before you're 12. They are all outdoor related. It's kind of a nice checklist or a guideline of maybe some of the things that, we've forgotten. It's like, yeah, you should, before you're 12, I hope you've climbed a tree, or I hope you've slept under the stars. And there have been some amazing things put out there by people. So Local OPAL just tries to link people with those. If you know of great ideas, please share. Or if you find broken links, let me know and we'll try to get them fixed for you. This more stuff over here, there's a hodgepodge there. So local activities and challenges is just some odds and ends sorts of things. Peoria Park District has a 100-mile hike group. You can learn more about it just by clicking there. That's hot. Costs $15, I think, and you can join up to be a part of that. These are just ones that I created trying to get people to go outside and do stuff. Like this one is treasure hunt bingo. Can you find evidence of insects, and where did you find them? So you could work on that over the course of a season, and almost any season really. Tic-tac-toe trek. Play in Peoria, become a through adventurer. I will tell you that when I built this one, I have since found other areas that I didn't know existed. So that one is almost complete, not completely done, but it probably needs some editing done with it. If you take a look over here, did you know I love to learn, and to learn how cool of a hometown area you're in is really a gift. So there are just amazing things going on around here. For example, one of my favorites was talking to Mitch Ballman from Chautauqua National Wildlife Refuge, and he said, do you realize that the largest concentration of conservation agencies in the country is located right around Havana? And I was like, really? We don't think about Central Illinois as being that hotspot of a conservation area. If you take during the mid 1900s, Illinois' second largest inland commercial fishery. So I found that out, and in doing that, Peoria Magazine, it's cool, yes, but this person right here is my husband's grandfather fishing on the Illinois River many, many, many years ago. So we have some long traditions here. This is a bird group. Illinois has more wintering bald eagles than any of the contiguous US, and is second only to Alaska in the wintering bald eagle. So there are just amazing, amazing things going on. And so we should be so proud of this amazing place we call home. So they're all linked there. It's not, as I would tell my students, it's not Julie made it up. They're all linked there. National champion big trees, we have a lot of them. So why play and learn outdoors? We talked a little bit about the mental health benefits, and there are so many physical benefits to it as well. There are even a group of doctors in California who are writing nature prescriptions called Nature RX for people to go outside. So instead of medication, they're saying, okay, you need to go hiking for 2 miles 3 times a week, and because it has so many health benefits, mental and physical. And so if you're looking to try to convince somebody, the research is here. It's backed up. Outdoor groups and resources. We also have a lot of really cool groups. These are our local groups over here that are linked. If you know of any more, please let me know. They do amazing work. Rocky Glen and Friends of Rocky Glen basically saved that whole section for all of us to enjoy. These are some of the outdoor recreation resources that you can have. Everything from eBird to the Forbes Biological Station down at Havana, IDNR links, Master Naturalist links. These are all hot, so you should be able to get information. That's all there too. Probably one of my favorite things to play with is called Where Is That? you know, a lot of times people have the idea that Illinois is flat and there's nothing here, and oh my goodness, it's all cornfields. And so it's great fun to take pictures around here and say, yeah, this is here. So just like we have iconic areas that get photographed in national parks and things, we have some iconic areas around here too. So you try your hand at guessing. It's like, if you want to see these wildflowers, well, where is that? If you click on that, it will take you to them. That's up at Dixon Waterfowl Refuge up by Hennepin. So again, this is just one of my favorite ones. Big, 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 big trees down at Belrose Island. Also a really cool place to visit. So if you want to be inspired, I hope maybe a little bit by some of the cool places we have, this will give you an idea of what you can see there. So graphics fun is not anything more than, I am an old retired teacher who also enjoyed the creative side of teaching, and now I don't teach anymore, so I just wanted to play with graphics. So that's not anything huge there. The comment and contact page, I really do believe we need to live in gratitude and hope. These places would not exist if it wasn't for the people who work tirelessly to make sure they were preserved for us. And then there are just some fun things there, some fun wildlife videos that you can take a look at, contact information. And if you have suggestions for how to improve it, I am all up for suggestions on that sort of thing. So do you have any questions about how to use the website at all? Anybody?
I think the website is pretty self-explanatory, but one question that did come in, I noticed that you mentioned the leave no trace principles.
Yes.
So Jerry Audubon also encouraged that. Would you care to describe about the leave no trace principles for a minute?
Yeah, leave no trace is, in a nutshell, is leave it better than you found it. Please, for bicyclists, it means, you know, don't go bicycling in the mud and tear up things. You don't litter. Try to make sure that you are having no impact on things. If you're going to camp and you're going to have a fire, build it in a place that's meant for a fire. Don't just build it in the middle of the woods. The nutshell, I would say, of leave no traces: leave it better than you found it, and make it look like nature as opposed to people had visited there.
Everyone has the opportunity to unmute themselves if they would like to ask Julie a question directly. So anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Julie about?
Don't be shy, I don't bite.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and go back here to, we're going to go back to.
Do you have any favorite places that you'd like to share with us, Julie?
Oh, I have, you know, that is such a loaded question. Such a loaded question. It really, this sounds evasive, but really in a lot of respects, it depends on who I'm going with, and what they want to do. Really, I just like to be outside. If I get to choose and there are no restrictions on it, I love to paddle the Mackinac. I love to be near the Illinois River. I love the river bluff. I fell in love with Canton Lake Scenic Nature Trail. There are so many, and just when I think I've discovered the perfect one, I find a new one. Poplar Lane Park is one of my favorites. Just, it's so close to town, and it's just beautiful. It's just quiet. So I don't really have a good answer for that. I like them all. So where does Local Opal go from here? My goal is to finish McLean County, hopefully this winter sometimes. I'd like to add some more counties. I'm trying to hang close to the river, but I have, my ancestors come from up around that Bureau Stark area. So I'm kind of torn, kind of pulled this way, but also kind of pulled down to the Cass and Schuyler. So we'll see. If you have one that you really can convince me should be the next one, I'd be happy to entertain that idea. So, and links get broken. So try to stay on top of those and continue looking for new areas is kind of where we're going with that. Really beyond just trying to keep the website going and add to it. I guess the big goal is to help people get outside and enjoy what we have in our local area. The ripple goals, I feel like if we can get people outside to enjoy those areas, and they can help better connect to the land and each other, that they're happier and healthier, and they discover or rediscover this place we all call home, that maybe they'll take a little more pride in this place we call home. Basically, if they can discover it, maybe they'll enjoy it, they'll come to love it, and then hopefully they'll come to also help care for it. And a plug for our big, beautiful Sentinel on the Bluff, Giant Oak Park in Peoria. If you haven't been there, make it a stop. It's a beautiful place. So there we go. So musings of a dreamer. I won't bore you by reading you all of these, but there are some things that I would love to see happen. I would love to see the news outlets do something like Park of the Week, or You Got to Get Outside, where they promote some of those things. One of my favorite books to give my great nieces has been Do Princesses Wear Hiking Boots? And I would love that if our local princess company did some sort of activity where the princesses really did wear hiking boots. I think that would be really, really a cool thing. I'd love it if libraries would loan people tents or backpacks if they wanted to do that, and that school curriculums would include getting to know some of our local areas so that our kids could grow up and hopefully realize what an amazing place they grew up and become familiar with it. And I don't think we'll ever get rid of the teenage mantra of there's nothing to do around here, but hopefully we can mitigate it just a little bit. I think it'd be great if local groups could adopt, the children's hospital or nursing home, and maybe help some of the visitors who can't get to a park, maybe virtually visit some of those places. Yeah, that musings of a dreamer, that's what I would call that. If you asked me, I would tell you Central Illinois is a Goldilocks area. It's just right. If you really think about it, I can pack a backpack. I can head out. I can camp overnight. In the morning, I can get up and go hiking and birding. Grab some fresh produce at one of the farmers markets. We have so many anymore. I can go for a bike ride, do some paddling and fishing. And then it's like, okay, well, I need to go home and clean up. I can get home in time to clean up and go to a restaurant, have a nice dinner, and be on time for a theater production. And I'm never more than 30 miles from home. There are not very many places in the country that you can do it. This really is a just right place. It's a good place to call home. One of my favorite Isaac Newton quotes way back in 1675 is he used to say, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." And I guess I think that kind of applies to all of our outdoor areas, but specifically our local ones. And I guess I would change it to say, if we enjoy outdoor public spaces, it's because we stand on the work of giants who preserved them for us, or we wouldn't have them at all. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. I do want to thank you for the opportunity to talk about this great place we call home and our amazing outdoor areas.
One of the comments that just came in was, just as something to think about, as an avid trail runner in areas you cover, there are definitely trails designed for hiking and walking that are not conducive to running due to terrain or restrictions. Mm-hmm. This might be another, would you be able to see that distinction when trying to find out new places to explore on the run?
I would
basically
go ahead.
The guy indicated that basically today, I assume that you can bike it. If you can bike it, you can run it. And if you can hike it, then you might be able to run it. So
that's kind of the philosophy I've had. It's like, okay, I'm not a runner, but I have friends who do trail run, and I would say it's the same philosophy. I'm not sure how to delineate those. If you have suggestions for that, I'd be happy to take a look at it.
It sounds to me like it's just another opportunity to explore the great outdoors.
It
And
is.
if you have some really good comments about a place, you can always provide them or send them to Julie.
And we are all up for keeping it updated, so don't be shy.
As a webmaster to the Peoria Audubon website, I understand completely how it really helps sometimes to get people to provide you comments that if you have broken links or things like that. So it's quite useful.
It is, and it is greatly appreciated.
On behalf of the Peoria Audubon Society, we really appreciate immensely your taking the time and opportunity to showcase with us your website, as well as bring it to us to demonstrate how useful it is and provide an opportunity for the future. So thank you very much, Julie. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.